All right, well, good morning and happy Saturday, Central Georgia's meteorologist Ansley Parker here. We are going to take an extended look at the upcoming weekend forecast. We do have some changes on the way for this evening and then good changes on the way for Saturday heading into the rest of the work week. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what you can expect temperature-wise and what you can expect in terms of rain chances that are on the way for the night tonight. I'll give you something to hold on to. The good news is if you're not a huge fan of the warmer weather we've been having, the fall feel is going to be on the way in this next 7 days. So we'll talk about all of that here in just a minute, but let's start with a walk around the quad. Now, it's a pretty good start to the day across the area. We've got mostly blue skies, just a couple of clouds out there, but the thing that you'll probably notice the most stepping out the door is actually the thing you can't see. It's the temperatures. It's a pretty warm start to the day, and that's just something that you can't really pick up on from the sky cam. So aside from a few clouds, there's no rain out there, and it actually may have helped because it is, again, very warm this morning. I think that heat is probably going to be the biggest story for the day today. The high temperature will be above average for this time of year. We're going to climb our way back into the low 90s. So we were in the low 90s yesterday. And of course, when you factor in the humidity that we have, I think that will feel more like the upper 90s, maybe even near triple digits for some. Now, like I said, there is a little bit of a rain chance on the way for this evening. A couple of evening storms will be possible as we head into later tonight. So not for everybody, mainly for our north and western counties. And I'll kind of show you why I say that here in just a minute. But let's talk a little bit more about the numbers that we have out there right now. Now, it's only 11 a.m. this morning and temperatures are already into the low to even mid 80s in a couple of the warmer spots. Just one lone 79 hanging on in Upson County, and everybody else is well into the 80s. Not only that, but we've got more of the true summertime air out there. So we had a little bit of a break from that this week and it's back in full swing. What you can see here is that the wind is coming in from the southwest. So that is actually bringing in some increased moisture through the day today, and it's leaving us with pockets of heavy moisture like over there in Dublin. So of course that is adding to the feels like numbers outside. Heat index, still something we have to talk about for the rest of the day today. It's driving the feels like numbers mainly in the mid to upper 80s, but there are a couple of 90s beginning to peak on the board as well. So like I said, we'll probably feel more like the upper 90s, maybe even triple digits for some of the unluckier spots later today, but there could be relief in the form of rain later this evening. So right now on the satellite and radar, I know you can kind of see some crazy flashes of green going on here. That's just scatter being reflected back to the radar. It's actually not rain. We're completely dry. The most we have going on is just this cloud cover that's getting pushed in from the cold front that's going to bring our rain chances later tonight. So when we take this big picture and take a look at the entire southeast, it's pretty noticeable where that thing is sitting out towards our west, right along the line of these showers and thunderstorms. That is actually where the cold front is. So these showers and thunderstorms have spurred up along the leading edge of this cold front here, and that is going to be pushing our direction as we head towards later tonight. Now, I'll flip this over to the Storm Prediction Center outlook to show you that some of these look like stronger storms, right? You can see a good bit of lightning here, and even earlier today there was a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings with this. As this moves into North Georgia, kind of east of the metro area, that is where there's a little bit of a potential for some of these storms to get gusty winds, maybe some hail and some lightning as well. As this pushes down into central Georgia, a few of these storms could have some stronger winds, maybe some lightning, but we're not really expecting to see severe weather with these. The real severe weather potential is going to be further up in North Georgia. So not a ton to worry about on that front, but it will be our first rain chance in the last couple of days. So let's play this out through the rest of the day today. If you're heading outside, I know we have a lot of outdoor events going on across central Georgia, and there's college football going on today. So if you're tailgating, generally just doing things outside, you should be good to go for most of the afternoon today. It's really not until this evening that this rain chance starts to come into play. So you can see all the way through this afternoon, maybe at most one or two just teeny tiny little showers that pop up and then pop back down just as quickly as they arose. And then heading into this evening, that's when the leading edge of this front will start to come into central Georgia. Now, I want you to pay close attention to the next couple of steps I'm going to take you through on the future view here. Right when this enters into our northwestern counties, this is when it's the most held together. So all the way from about Hancock into Macon County, everybody there has got a pretty good shot at seeing at least a brief shower or a brief storm. But as this creeps further into central Georgia, it kind of starts to fall apart. So by the time we're talking about counties like Bibb into Houston, all the way into Washington, things just aren't holding together quite as much. So then by the time we're talking about our southeastern counties, places like Lawrence all the way down into Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, Johnson, Trutland, those areas, I think they have almost close to a 0% chance of rain later this evening. The whole thing is just going to fall apart as it continues to sweep across our area. So best chances at catching a shower or a storm later this evening heading into the late night hours tonight is going to be towards the north and west. If you're further towards the south and east today, I really don't think you've got a great shot at seeing anything. Overall, all of this will die down into the overnight hours tonight, and then we will kick off Sunday nice and clear. The good thing about this is it's a cold front, so as this comes across our area, it's going to bring that initial push of moisture, a couple of showers and a couple of storms, but then it's going to leave behind it a lot of dry and much cooler air. So for Sunday, we'll start to dry out. There'll be a couple of clouds out there, but other than that, we should be free of rain chances for Sunday. And then that drier air is going to start to try to set in, which I'll show you on the future view map of humidity here in just a minute. So then we kick off the upcoming work week with really, really low rain chances. There's going to be about a 10% chance of rain every day on the 7-day forecast. That's going to cover the bases for what you can see right here. Maybe 1 or 2 brief showers that try to pop up in some parts of the day. But overall, I think honestly for most of the upcoming work week, we should almost be entirely dry. And again, the fall feel will be back in the air. You can see that as we play out the long range models as well. I almost shouldn't have even added pause points here because as we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way into Friday, still not really seeing anything or any major rainmaker heading our direction. So it should really be another fall feeling and very dry upcoming work week for us. It's going to take a minute for the dry air to really set in. So Sunday, you still may notice some of the humidity in the air, but take a look as we head into Monday. Then we start getting the flow coming in from the northeast, that true dry air where it puts us all the way in this brown category here, far away from the muggy category. That will be taking over the whole area. So that will really start to feel that way as we head throughout the day Monday, and then that hopefully will stick with us into the upcoming work week as well. So a lot to look forward to in the next couple of days. We talked about rain is going to be clearer, the humidity is going to be a lot lower. Not only that, but this is one of the true fall fronts where it's actually going to drop the numbers as well. We've been on kind of a warming trend over the last couple of days. Yesterday, we peaked in that warming trend, seeing our high temperature at 93 degrees. 93 is actually above average for this time of year, so if that felt warm, it definitely was. The high, or the average high for this time of year, is right around 90 degrees. So we're creeping our way closer to average as we go throughout the day today, but today is still going to be a warm day. In fact, you can kind of see here where the front tries to take shape on the future view temperature map, but it's not going to get to us before we hit our high for today. So right around 91 this afternoon. It's still going to feel warm. There's going to be humidity out there. It's going to be a hot Saturday, but then that front comes through here and it's going to take a minute, like I said, for the drier and cooler air to really start to set in. So tomorrow we may still see upper 60s. It might not feel that different as we head into the morning tomorrow, but by the afternoon, we're already going to be trending cooler. So by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see upper 80s as opposed to low 90s. We're slowly working our way to a cooler temperature. It's just Sunday's going to kind of be our landing pad. We got to make our way slowly there first. So upper 80s by the time we have Sunday. Then by Monday morning, you may start to notice some of that cooler air. Those fall-like mornings that we've been having will start to set in by Sunday or Monday morning. Then by Monday afternoon, we're going to see high temperatures only in the low 80s, so about 10 degrees below average for this time of year. That's going to feel a lot more comfortable into the upcoming work week. And there's another push of dry air heading into the rest of the work week that's going to keep that feel around. So overall, it's great weather in the upcoming forecast. You kind of just have to make it through Saturday. And if that's the worst that we have on the forecast overall, I still think that's a pretty good day. We got plenty of sunshine this afternoon. It's just going to be hot, and then you have to deal with a couple of showers and storms later this evening. So that's kind of our weather all said and done. We'll talk a little bit more about the 7-day forecast here in just a minute, but we are actually approaching the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That occurs on September 10th, so it's kind of good to just keep our bearings with what's going on in the tropics. Now, right now, we only have one area of potential tropical development being monitored by the National Hurricane Center. This technically is losing chances of development, but let's talk about how this whole thing got kicked off. Now what we are looking at is a tropical wave that pushed off the west coast of Africa and is now sitting in the central tropical Atlantic. It's interacted with the warm waters in that area, the energy that's available during hurricane season, and ended up producing a low pressure system that produced an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. So all of that is kind of enough for the National Hurricane Center to go, okay, this is an area we need to pay attention to, especially as it continues moving towards the west. This region that we're talking about in the tropics here is actually called the main development region in the Atlantic. This is where we see most tropical storms and hurricanes form. So this was something the National Hurricane Center was saying, okay, let's keep our eyes on this. As it developed, this low pressure system and these showers and thunderstorms associated with it, it was showing some promising signs of becoming a tropical depression by this weekend. Yesterday morning, the chances were sitting at 90% chance of development over the next 7 days. You may be able to pick up by now, it's not looking that impressive anymore. We've dropped all the way down to low chances of development. So what in the world has changed between yesterday and today? It's something you can kind of see on the map behind me, this shaded area here. It indicates some Saharan dust. So that is a lot of dry air that is in the area, and the system just really hasn't been able to overcome that dry air. As it's continued pushing towards the west, it's run into more dry air, and basically what dry air does is disrupt the system overall. It makes it harder for it to come together, form a central circulation. Overall, dry air is difficult for tropical systems. So this actually, luckily, has really disrupted this system. It's majorly dropped its chances of development over the last 24 hours. Now, we sit at only 30% chance of development over the next 7 or 2 days. So it kind of continues to just lose promising chances of development. It will reach the Lesser Antilles by maybe the middle to later portion of the upcoming week. We'll keep our eyes on that. Again, it's still kind of an area with some energy, with some disorganized showers and thunderstorms, and with a low pressure system, but promising signs of it continuing to look weaker and weaker. So that's a good thing. I'd say all things considered, as we approach what is considered to be the peak of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, September 10th, this is when we're supposed to see the most activity happening in the tropics. To only have one area of potential development that's really not showing promising signs of developing, I'd say we're sitting in a pretty good spot. So we'll kind of keep our eye on the Atlantic as we go throughout the month of September. If you're curious as to where we stand, so far this season, we've only had 6 named storms. We just had Ferdinand. That ended up being a fish storm over towards Bermuda. And now if we did see that system overcome everything that it has working against it out there, it would take the 7th name of the season, and that would be Gabrielle. So that's kind of where things stand in terms of the hurricane season. To wrap up your whole forecast, here is a quick look at your 7-day. Remember, Saturday is technically going to be the worst day. I say worst because I actually end up enjoying the warmer weather. We have 90s in the temperature department for today. And then as we head into Sunday, a lot of these numbers will start to gradually fall off. By Monday, sitting in the low 80s, and then we'll hang on to the low 80s through the next couple of days. We slowly work our way back up to a slightly warmer number by the middle to later portion of the week. It's not anywhere near where we're sitting right now. That's going to be the mid 80s by Thursday and towards the end of the week. And the rain chances that you see on here are basically non-existent. The 10% just covers the basis for maybe a brief shower or storm that might try to pop up in the afternoons and evenings with the heat of the day. Overall, I think basically through the upcoming week, most places are going to stay entirely dry. Hopefully that will carry over beyond the 7 days. It's looking like next weekend is looking to be good as well. So if you're heading out for the afternoon today, I would just throw the umbrella or rain jacket in the car just in case, if you know you're going to be out until the evening, because some of the evening showers and thunderstorms will start to pop up. I would say probably around 5 to 6 p.m. later tonight. So if you find yourself out during those times, you may just want to have an umbrella handy. Other than that, we are going to cool down and dry out as we head into Sunday, so it should be a great end to the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me for this extended look at your weekend forecast. I hope you have a wonderful, happy, and safe Saturday. I'm meteorologist Ansley Parker. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.